Alright, so continuing on, we'll do circadian rhythm sleep-wake disorder and the DSM-5 criteria. So it's a persistent and recurrent pattern of sleep disruption that is primarily due to an alteration of the circadian system or a misalignment between endogenous circadian rhythm and the sleep-wake schedule required by an individual's physical environment or social and professional schedule. So that's a complicated definition for criterion A. However, the important point here is that this tends to happen to people who are required by either the physical environment, social, or professional schedule to work at unusual hours that are kind of against our own internal biological circadian rhythm. The sleep disruption leads to excessive sleepiness or insomnia, and C, the sleep disturbance causes clinically significant distress or impairment. You can specify delayed sleep type, advanced sleep phase type, irregular sleep wake type, non-24 hour sleep wake type, shift work type, and unspecified type. The shift work type is probably the primary one, and the one that I see a lot of questions on when they're asking for board exam style questions or review books are going to really talk about that. So this is just really the general definition for circadian rhythm sleep-wake disorders, and the bottom line here is that you want to know that what it's a disruption in, primarily due to an alteration in circadian system, and that there's some kind of misalignment between the endogenous circadian rhythm and the schedule in which the individual keeps, and of course it causes some kind of problem with their daily life and personal life and normal daily function. So that's the basic introduction to it. Circadian rhythm disorders, so these disorders emerged when societal expectations conflict with a person's preferred circadian rhythm. So like I said before, we went through that circadian rhythm slide at the beginning where we kind of looked at the different hormonal aspects of the circadian rhythm, the timing of certain points, and really we said it's most people's it's about approximately 25 hours, not 24 hours. So again, the classic example, if you're in medicine or if you're a med student or whatever, then you know all about 24-hour call shifts and you know all about night shifts and things of that nature. And so night shifts and 24-hour call shifts can really disrupt a person's normal schedule. And that's when you start to see these disorders come up because, again, societal demands are much higher and greater than your biological drive to sleep. So you can essentially disrupt it with a conscious effort. As a result, the timing of sleep, not its quality in architecture, is adversely affected. So again, it's a timing issue. We talked extensively already about that. The most frequently encountered circadian rhythm disturbances are jet lag. And with jet lag, the important thing to know is that it's easier to travel from east to west. So it's actually easier to force yourself to stay awake longer than it is to have yourself go to sleep earlier. So if you're coming from the west to the east, say you're coming from California to New York, you're going to have a much more difficult time adjusting to that process. Whereas people traveling from New York to California for a 2-week stay are going to have an easier time dealing with that, and that's just part of the process. So it's actually a lot easier for you to maintain wakefulness versus force yourself to sleep at a different time. The most circadian rhythm disorders are self-limited, so they resolve when the individual adjusts to the new sleep-wake cycle. So people always say that you eventually adjust to these things. I've been on 24-hour call shifts. I've been, overnight and had to stay the whole next day and done overnights and things like that. And honestly, I don't ever really feel like you adjust to it. My best sleeping schedule personally was to go from about 7 a.m. wake up time to 12 midnight. And that worked really, really well for me during med school for my studying sessions. So I would go to bed at midnight or around 10 to 12, and I would wake up at 7 a.m. and I would start the process all over again. And I found that to be my personal optimum schedule. But everybody, of course, is a little different, and you will find different things work for different people. As far as adjusting to this, I'm not so sure you really ever fully adjust to it. I'm going to probably hold off on the non-REM stuff here for the next video. So I'm going to cut it there, just quick, brief introduction to circadian rhythm sleep-wake disorders. And we'll pick it up in the next one.